Good morning, peace and blessings. Hope everybody's in good spirit. Everybody made it through. God bless everybody for tuning in. You know, you know, feeling my hat man mood today. Being my true self. That's the ego. And with it, that's what we're gonna discuss: the higher self and the destruction of the ego, because they come synonymous, one in one. You have to get rid of your lower self, which is really your ego, your personality, your character, to get into your higher self. So, I'm gonna give everybody a second or whatever, peace and blessings, so that we could actually have a little group talk or whatever. I've been having a lot of changes taking place, which is helping to make greater understanding of what the ego is and how it works, and the higher self, how it works. So, we're gonna discuss it. So before we do, let me play this song I did. I was helping out my neighbors and them, trying to teach them how to rap out here or whatever. So I had did this song that it's in reference to the ego. Peace and blessings, Raven. I I'm gonna hit you up today because I got something I gotta share with you. So after this, I'm gonna hit you up. But let me find this real quick. We can get back to this. All right, let's see where we at. They doing construction over here, so it's kind of weird. I'm gonna try to do this live, but there's gonna be a lot of background noise now and construction outside. So just bear with me as we do that real quick. Alright, now until everybody come in, let me close this up because it's gonna get very loud. I saw you in that hat yesterday in the vision right before I viewed your live. Wow. Yeah, I have to wear this hat into meditation, believe it or not. I can't go into meditation without this hat on. That send me back. It's crazy. You know? Alright, so let me see now. I've sent you new okay, great. I'm gonna hit them up and check them out. Okay, let me see what we're doing here. Back to the future. Back. Alright. Now, as the horseman or whatever, I went through a little situation where it was like I had to go through what we call twice born. And it's not something I'm going to say is concurrent with everybody, but if you hear from a personal experience, then you will understand yourself and where I'm trying to go with it, because it was from my personal experience I decided to change the way of teaching, because a lot of people was doing it downloading, or the ancestors said. That's like all the ones in my beginning videos. They have a set limitation. You're gonna go great places, and yes, it does encompass the universal conscious mind. But we don't want to stay in the universal conscious mind. We want to ascend. This is ascension to your higher self. So you plan on leaving your zodiac trait, meaning being described every day by your zodiac. Good morning, Sandra, or good night for you. Peace and blessings. And so you want to be able to be unpredictable. And so you don't want to be able to be predicted under the signs of the zodiac, underneath the stars, and natal even. You understand? Because as a higher self, your higher being, you assume your individuality, your own personal identity that cannot be predicted, it cannot be identified, it cannot be influenced. And so these is what you have to learn now with the higher self, because the ego falls under the influences. It's predictable. It's what society is built off of, the ego. So in shedding the ego, that's the experience I'm sharing with you now. I went through a traumatizing experience that led me on a mission to say how I got to help other people, because I'm from the United States, and everything that we do in the United States is egotistical, but you wouldn't know it's egotistical unless you leave the United States and see how other people live, and then you'll see have something to reference yourself to. But when you're in the picture, it's hard for you to see what's going on. So by me being able to leave the picture, I got a bigger picture of what y'all need to help you and to understand the ego more better, because we are our ego. If you want to look at the basic term for the ego, is swag. And you got swag, you're living in your ego. That's, I don't know what they term it now. You know, you got many terms, but that's just a basic concept of what we're talking about, which everybody does develop through socializing. You know, by you having social interaction, you develop these swags, these egos, these splits, these personalities, these narcissism, these other states that we call schizophrenia. It's different parts to it that we're going to look into. But now, for me, giving it from a personal experience, I I was in trauma. So for me, I had to figure out what's going on with me. I'm in a strange place. I'm psychologically and biochemically having strange things feeling inside of me, neurosis, psychosis, all of this to myself. You understand? And I can't go to a doctor. I can't go to a psychologist. I can't even turn to my family, because in doing so, they thought I was crazy. You understand what I'm saying? So this is where it gets interesting at. I'm not crazy, but I was experiencing something. So now I had too many people is going to be able to teach it back to help others the same way. They're going to do it as something we're going to just watch as entertainment or overlook, not knowing we either going through it too, or somebody in our family members going through it and they're stuck in it. The difference is I passed it. I understood it. I got it. I got it great. And that's what made me be able to pass it. So I'm going to share that information with you now. So upon me having such here, greetings, I seek peace and blessings. So what happened now, when you come here, you're in the sun. It's a stronger sun. I'm in the middle of the equator now. The sun is going around. The north, you know, was up here. So they're not getting the sun at the whole. We're not receiving the magnetic field. If you was to look at the electromagnetic spectrum, you're not getting the whole thing from up here. That's why you have four seasons and all that stuff. Over here, we have really the four season effect, but it's not four seasonal changes. Our temperature is constant. Now, only difference now is the magnetic field of the sun is beating on us stronger, so our atoms is working more. So if you was actually 200 pounds in the north here, by instantly moving here, you're going to drop to like 150 pounds because of the sun's magnetic field and pull upon your electrons and everything. So me not knowing this, just living, all of a sudden had a biochemistry attack that, boom, my kundalini activated from all this heat and fermentation going in the chemicals in me. And I just had a big pulse going off inside of me. It felt like I'm floating in my body and it's going woo, 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 woo. Just like this. So I'm all out at the in nature and the beach taking pictures, but I feel such an energy that my heart feel like it's beating fast. So it's so much I have to get some rest. Say, no, I need some relax. I feel like I'm overpowered or too much energy. So I go to lay down now. We're merely a frequency. Yes, Naval, that's what I didn't know then. And that's true. We're more vibration and frequency. And when you understand that, we'll be able to understand each other, because we don't use the body no more. We don't use the physical. We use vibration and frequency, not just in our daily interaction with people, but to heal, to actually make changes, to actually get what we want. We use the same vibration and frequency. So that's what we're here to learn on the whole, so that you will be able to grasp it, conceptualize it in your mind, and use it for a tool to benefit from it. So you don't just have it egotistically. Once you take it in egotistically, it serves you in no way. You just giddied up about it, like the whole world with this black thing. I don't want to get racist or anything, because I'm not. We're all mixed up. But I want you to realize, and just our ego, we're just happy hearing that, oh, we're faster, we're this, we have melon. These things rendered me no different in the day I die and the day another person died. No different in grave. No different when you eat your alkaline food. I don't see nobody who eat vegetables and all that diet die or live longer than the person who don't eat it. I don't see them no more healthier than the person who don't eat it. So we do a lot of egotistical things just to feel good, but I don't see no results. I'm looking for results. You understand what I'm saying? That's what life is about. So if you don't see results, you know you live in an egotistical way of seeing things. You just want the information to feel good. You're just doing it to feel good. You're not doing it for change. You're not affecting the matrix. What bring about change is what you tested and it worked and it changed. It's not what they say. We following what they say, but how they they're not tricking you in what they're saying. All the information, everything they're saying, all the information, everything. So you have to test everything, like how you taste food, you taste information. All right. On that note now, so I come in to get some rest, and I had to lay it down because my heart, true God is frequency. Your state is your allowing to tune in and into a frequency. Knowing yourself is knowing what state of frequency you are in. That's right, NVDL. So give me your name. Let me say it right. Give you your props, because again, you hit a very important marker. That is the truth. True God. You start off as a frequency, and that's what we're all trying to tune into. Once you could tune to the God frequency, you don't have an ego no more. The ego is gone. It's hard to tune to the God frequency for us in the Western world because it wasn't part of Western teaching. And people like Enva, who actually NVDL, all right, NVDL, I got you. Okay. Now the yes, brother, yes, Donna Suave. Now and being tapping into the true God frequency, what prevents us from tapping in? It's actually our thoughts, our beliefs, and we're being bombarded by our beliefs. We have one book, right? And this is what we call our Bible. And everybody term, God, and we have this good side and this bad side. But yet we deny our facts. We're living an experience that renders us to be good sometime and to be bad sometime. Are you your worst condemner or are you your worst God? You're both in different situations. So tapping into that frequency is a frequency that you must decide that you want to tap into, not judge yourself, not judge a situation. So that true God is a frequency. And if she said your state is you allowing to tune into a frequency. So that state is what you're trying to do by actually denying your ego. What blinds you from seeing these frequencies, which is way beyond just God frequencies, just many frequencies, is our perception of what we see. You can look at me with my hat on, or you can see my soul. You can hear my word. You can see my words too. You can see the vision. There's many things to see other than what's right in front of you and take it literal. And by you taking things literal, you're using the right side of your brain, which is analytical. It's not spiritual. And you won't see the spiritual universe because the universe is a subtle energy of what we call that ethereal energy of what we call that ethereal energy, and it's spiritual. So you have to tap into your spiritual side by not seeing so much form, because in seeing form, you're gonna most people feel insignificant about themselves when they start seeing form. When you see somebody know more than you feel insignificant about yourself. You see somebody with a fly car, you feel insignificant. And you see your friend just bought a new house, you start feeling insignificant. So that's what brings about these blocks up that you can't feel, you can't get to that actual God frequency because of the looking out into the world and measuring yourself to everything that's going else on, and then feeling insignificant within your own self. So that you have to overcome, and that will help you. Um, when you speak the language of symbolism, Imperial Techrat Elion, yes, you're right. It's our subconscious mind reads symbols. And so that's why they do advertisement. If you notice, everything is about advertisement. Advertisement is programming. It programs your subconscious to make you carry out an act later on. We don't know this because they never taught it in the West on purpose. We only learn Western knowledge. Western knowledge, you got to realize, think about this, and it's very important for you to understand it. That's why you have to learn the Eastern way too. That it's the United States of America, which is the District of Columbia, which was created in the 1400s after Christopher Columbus. I'm just not saying we're following that and saying it's true, but we're looking at a timeline that the United States was just open to the public. And that's the Western world. Remember, Europe and all that is the openers of this West world. And when they put the people in there, they only gave them a holy Bible. They didn't give them Eastern doctrines, Kundalini, Tantra, everything, the Egyptian books, philosophy, to actually give them the knowledge they need. We build up our own knowledge as we went along, generations after generations. It was just about eating, surviving, and having a job. And it's just now we're seeking other than survival. We're looking into our soul and trying to figure out what's our purpose, who's our true self. And so this is the difference from why the Western world don't have the full better knowledge, wisdom of the mysteries of who they truly are, because we never looked into that, being that this world was just created like 500-700 years ago. So you got to understand our knowledge is low. So on that note, us seeking it just in the United States or Western knowledge, you're looking at a lot of books written on speculations more than facts. They don't know too much and they're speculating than to actually have it align with ancestors and people who came before that left it in the record books or on rocks or on scrolls or on papyrus. And that's where we make a disconnection from, and we start our own way of doing things. And so when we start our own way, we wind up cutting ourselves off from the root. So I try to have learned it because of my experience. We need something official. We don't need something that I said it. Yo, Lord Enki said it. And so it's true. No, you don't want that. You want to check it everywhere, anywhere, and it's still the same truth. Then you know it's true. Then you say, yeah, he was right. So I had to study ancient books, medieval books, European books, from German, French, Spain, Portugal. They had the true knowledge because they was here setting up the United States. So they studied those books, and that became our science, our philosophy, NASA, everything built off of those ancient books. Even what they're telling us today, epigenetics, come out of those sacred books. Epigenetics is not new. All this new science is not new. All they're going to tell you is that you're a higher being and you can heal yourself. And you're supposed to have been through that from the 70s and 60s, but they never told anybody that. So by you understanding, you could body double, you could astral project, you could fly around, you could heal yourself. It's really here for you right now, and it's being done. You realize now society had cut off. The higher classes cut themselves off. And then they got into the ancient wisdom books. And they kept feeding us the CNN with crisis shit. A whole bunch of crisis shit. And we got scared and just wanted the government protection while they're up here studying it. Then they start flying around in their Merkaba. If you look at the clouds over Israel, you see it's a perfect aligned cloud just like this with the guard standing underneath the clouds, right underneath it on Palestine borderline. And the Palestinians are scratching their head like, what's going on here? Nature and God is with these people and guarding the borderline, and you see the cloud like it's ready to buck. But actually, it's them in meditation, in their subtle astral body, and they assume the cloud, and all of them is lined up. So for that cloud to be there, it's a bunch of mystics someplace meditating. That's all. In their astral body protecting it. But we don't know nothing about this, but it's our loss. But with it, we have to learn now because they bombard us through programming, through the TV, to see it in a superficial way, like Superman or we flying or this, but you're actually doing it right this second. Everybody right now, it has a double body that flies around, do things, but the government is not going to tell you it. By them denying it, you don't believe you have it. That's the truth, but they're using it. If you look at the psychic program, the CIA mind control program, all these is what is here. Tulsa with his actually Wi-Fi signal, low frequency that reads people's minds. So they already on the same frequency as the earth, the universal magnetic field, your magnetic field, your brain magnetic field. They're already tapped into all of those. That's nothing. What we have to do is learn to get out of that. That's theirs now. They control all that. But if we're stuck in it, once you're stuck in it, then you become programmed. They're making a matrix program, locking the magnetic field in. So the magnetic field don't actually leave to the higher self. They keep reincarnating through the moon. The moon itself is called Amentet, the crocodile. That's the moon. She's not just the mother, like the sun is the father. That's male, female, yin yang, masculine, feminine. Everything in nature replicate that. I want you to understand that even in the egg, an egg, one side is positive, one side is negative, so it has an implosion inside, an atomic bomb, boom, explodes inside the egg, and that's how an embryo or a baby come out. Even these rocks, you always tell this is male, female. I found these as a set. This is the actually the shape makes this male, and the circle is always a feminine shape. This is in nature. You see it in the planetary shape, chakras, cell. You know by the shape of it. So we have strings. You know what's going on. This is our matriarch, patriarch season or whatever. And so even in the moon itself, it has two male and female energy, Isis and Osiris. Wax in one way is Isis, wax wine in the other way is Osiris, and it has a real effect on us. It determines if you're going to have a boy child or a girl child. It depends. Isis makes the boys and Osiris make the girls. It's straight like that. So that's who they're supposed to worship. But I was just saying now, in my experience, when I came home to lay down, all of a sudden I had this feeling like if I'm floating in my body. So as I laid down to rest, I started to doze off, and I went into the astral world, or I started having sleep paralysis. And I look up and I see a being just floating in the air, right there in the air. And so I was too tired, so I just said, I see you, and I just laid my head back down to fall asleep. All of a sudden, in the back of my spine, I felt like somebody took a bottle, a Pepsi can, it was about that size or thing, and pushed it straight through my back. And it was the start, it hit my spine where I jumped up like that. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it was my Kundalini activating. That picture where you see the crocodile attaching to your back of your spine in the Egyptian pictures. And I just felt dizzy. I got up, put some water on my face, but now my body is like it's hovering. It's going woo woo, woo woo, to where I start feeling like I want to throw up. I could barely stand. I was at the sink washing my face, but when I left the sink, I'm bent over. Before I get to my room door, I'm on my knees literally. And there my legs start going into a paralysis, and I fall on the floor, and I'm crawling down with just my hands towards my bed. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I grab my phone and I'm trying to call 911 or somebody to help me. And when I call now, it's crawling up to my mouth. And when she said hello, I'm like, she's like, hello, I'm gonna hang the phone up on you if you don't talk. I'm like, and she just said, bye, quick. And I'm like, what the hell? Put the phone down, and it took over my hands, and I couldn't do nothing more than just lay like this. As I threw up, everything started coming out, and I just fell asleep. I passed out in it. Woke up the next day like 12 midday, and right next to it, and only thing I could do was feel my body. I did not feel like myself. I know something was taken from me or something was put in me, but I did not feel like myself. I checked myself. I even checked my thoughts. It was there, but I did not feel like myself. And that was to me twice born, the feeling, the thing, because now I was not the same person that playboy me that running around looking like going to the gym, working out. My body meant everything to me. It went away. It wasn't about image no more. I went on my Facebook and deleted all sexy girls and the girls with their titties out, and everything that I used to be, I didn't like it no more. That's not what I was about. And I didn't want to be judged for form. Didn't want to be judged for look. And I started rewriting my posters, taking out the pictures though. You have to read it. I wanted you to read it, not look at it for what it was. And all of this because when I fell out, I went into another world. And these creatures or entities were so repulsive or scary, I was afraid. And I noticed that then when I was afraid, it was because of how they looked. But when they touched me, it was like my best friend I knew from years. And it was like love. And I'm like, wow. So we judge things from images, and we don't really know what it is. And that's how the media get us, by telling us that the Arabs did that to the World Trade Center. We hate the whole Arab. It's a big conflict. Even when you walk past one, you second guessing now. Like, it could be you. Or you a terrorist. So it actually has a real influence on us. So I decided to take out imagery out the thing. And I'm giving you this as a lesson so you could take imagery out of anything obstacle you're facing, because that's where you get the fear from. It's the sensation of what you're looking at that cause your responsive reaction to either try to overdo it, underdo it, or don't do it at all. If you just see it as energy, that will make every experience a learning experience. Even the more you feel fear, the more you muster up the courage to face this energy, because that energy is going to give you something you was afraid to face. And you have to learn that. So by you not able to see images, because we tend to judge things off an image, you're able to have the experience and it means more to you. I wanted to just to share that with you because it's important to realize when we getting rid of the ego is a real thing. It's not something that is actually, oh, I'm gonna change my attitude today, and I think I'm a no more ego. No, it don't. It's not that simple. The only way you could get rid of your ego is from experience. I give you a great example of what I mean. It was a friend of mine who told me, this is a Reiki master, been all over the country. He's working with all type of different yogas, from Kundalinis, Hathas, not, from a little neighborhood teacher, all going to countries doing this. And so it's like one of the greatest teachers, but every time they come with me and try to test me, it don't work. I'll be taking whatever they got, and then poof, they be like, "How you do that?" So, anyways, it's great. They bring their masters to come up here, and they still do the same thing. I'm the teacher of all teachers, man. Y'all don't understand it yet. So, anyways, I always go back and reteach her everything because they still didn't do purification. Like I took the sacred way to be a high priest. It gives me we shamans. You understand? We know the whole biophysiology of the outer sheaths, the different layers of you, everything. And that's what you have to learn about yourself. It's your split. So these is going to help you to understand that. But when she comes to teach me all her energy stuff and how we share energy back and forth and could actually make me touch her hand from long distance and that she could touch mine. We could ping each other's chakras, make each other hand move uncontrollably. It's a lot of stuff we could do. It's if your energy is of the right, pure energy. Now she got all this power. It's even a mantra she do, and I watch her, because I don't do all that stuff. I just stay like this and do it. I don't do nothing. I don't do a pose. I don't do none of that stuff she doing. That's what fucked them up. Because I just stand like this and just do it to them. And fuck them all up. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is now, I could watch her do the mantra and I watch her body double separate. And I'll be like, yo, you just separated and there's a person right next to you. And she's like, yes, this is what we do. And that's going to give me energy. I said, okay, fine. As long as you know. But now she tells me the story of how, she was going through something and she needed to go work. And so she took the job. And when she got to the job now, it was like everybody had to tell her what to do and she couldn't do it right. Everything that she had to learn, she couldn't do it right. And she couldn't take that. So she quit the job. So she was telling me, and she said it was the greatest lesson she ever learned because she didn't even know she had like those type of things where she had dissatisfaction in herself. She felt insignificant. She felt like she was a failure just doing the job and couldn't do the job. And people always have to run and tell her what to help to do. But her herself as a teacher would just feel great within herself. But she never faced her own demons. Stuff that will make you lead a job that don't want to do it. So we go through life sometimes just facing what we want to experience that don't bring out our ego. We don't let our ego manifest so we could see it. So it was the first time she saw her own ego and realized it was things that she had to humble herself with and learn and fix, because a teacher telling another teacher is like disrespect. You understand? But when you live your life as just yourself and nobody told you what to do, it's hard for you to learn. You understand? You think you're learning, but you're not learning until you're in a situation you feel uncomfortable in. When you feel in an uncomfortable situation, your ego is now alive. It's a test of your ego. Could you suppress your ego and learn? Or are you gonna, nah, man, fuck that. I'm not doing this. Nah, I'm not. That's usually how we filter out our experiences in life. And so by not filtering out your experiences, you get to do what we call ascending. or enlightenment is the word. Enlightenment, put it like this. Look at from my shoulder to the top of the hat. It's 70 different layers of yourself going up like this, compressing to give you per square inch a certain impression. And each of these is what we call an ego. It's a shadow. And so now, by you moving up in consciousness, by not believing your body, you're the body, you leave this body now. And you come out your magnetic field, which is just a thin line over you. But now you don't know yourself and you see all this, but then you start to learn about the ego. And when somebody come and disrespect you, you allow it to go and you hold it inside, you move up, boom. As you suppress it more, you move up, boom. You keep going up till once you get up here, bam, you out of yourself, your own sheaths. You got sheaths that the ego holds in you. It's not physically on you, it's over you now. And you get up to a certain level, and now you don't have no influence of the ego. You become like what we call Buddha and enlightenment, meaning you just see everything in a universal way and don't judge every situation by a sensation you feeling. You know it's a deeper underlying story to it. So once you understand this, then you're more on the path of understanding your own ego is already being trained to come out of you. You just got to allow it to be done. You understand? Some of us run from it. Talk that king, that internal to transaction. Yes, that's right. We have to because yes, Sandra, it's gonna be hard to hear me at times. Like I said, the forces are always up against me. I'm coming from getting sick. They're actually doing construction on the streets outside this time. So it must be lunchtime right now. So it's kind of good. But there's been a tractor going back and forth every day. So expect me to be on the late night tip now or whatever, trying to do these when everybody else is relaxing. So I just want you to understand that part of everything so you know how everything works. You know, thank you, Elian. That's right. I love your name too, and that's who we are. We're the gods, and I don't want to say it like how other people have said it in the past, and I don't want us to get superficial with it because that's where we lost ourselves. It's like saying, "Oh, black people is the great." More power. 1 million people go to a march. 1 million people. I'm not even going to talk about race in this, and no change today. No change. Think about it. They just went and hanged out. That was for 1 million egos. Really? Think about it. No change. If 1 million people come to see me, it's going to be big changes. If 1 million people organize on it, it's going to be big changes. And that's the problem. We don't see who our enemy is because he resides in our ego. He feeds our ego. Everything on TV is to feed your ego. As long as you let your ego fester, you're not yourself. The self is the one that rebukes the ego, is going to hold back because they want universe to take in what the information is you're getting. You keep doing this and you get out. You get out. You get out. Yes, all right, now and Vod, whatever, you know what it is. Yes, I wanted to break something down. I know it's a lot of higher beings here, but we always, like I said, I want us to tune in and be able to understand each other experience. Back to what I was saying now, when actually that event took place for me, it tripped me out. I was gone. I didn't even know what was going on. I thought I was possessed, and from America. Only thing we got to associate everything is from the religion point of view. So I'm YouTubing to see what the fuck just happened to me. What was that? And so I can't find nothing more than some type of possession. So now my mind is compromised. Yo, this how stupid reality is. Reality is a joke, man. I'm telling you. So my mind is compromised, and I'm thinking of some type of possessions. Yes, rising, and so I'm looking for something like that in reality, and yet I can't find it. But it seemed to be pointing to that. So stupid me now going to the Catholic Church, the biggest one here, and pay these people to do an exorcism on me. Thinking it has something to do with all this. I was an idiot, man. My own soul, my own everything. All the thing that happens is your soul activates. It's three sides to us, and one side of us is dormant and asleep. We have no energy. Our magnetic field is weak. But as we grow through experiences, especially suffering, That's why you always hear it's good to do for others, because we have to go through suffering to wake up, to take the silver spoon out of our mouth. Through America is designed itself purposely to stop Kundalini from rising. That's why they made it. And when they made it, they got rid of all degenerates, whoever cursed, lied, steal, fornicated out of their countries and put it in America on purpose. Now, with doing that, they made a group of people that they felt was the bad seed of the earth that they was getting rid of through eugenics. Google eugenics if you want to understand why we're here. Eugenics will tell you that was their game plan. But they messed up because God made us. We're the higher beings. They put all God's children in the same. That's like Kanye. You ever saw Kanye? They put the best of the best on the island. I mean, the plane. That's what they did. They put the best of the best on the island. And that's where you get the Americans from, us, our blood, who we are. And then you got to realize now, when with them doing that, they think they purified their areas, and that was what it was about. So there is a purification that you have to go through when you're going up into these higher worlds. Don't think your ego is it, because that's what they sent here, the ones with the most ego. And this became America, the American swag. But now you have to control your ego. That's why when we hear trap music, you start getting into your ego. You start bobbing your head, your face get ugly. The words is perfect with the rhythm to what cause that vibration to send you right into your dark ego. So if you don't able to be conscious of what I'm saying, then you're just gonna go into the trap and go sleep, and you'll be unconscious in your body, and the ego will be yourself, your character, your personality, those things that you don't know. But the true ego, when somebody do something to you, is a nasty person that do fucked up shit to people that you never really confronted. You just did it and dis- discarded it afterwards. So when you coming up to the higher self, you can't have that type of duality in you, because that only is going to make contradiction and make the ego even more powerful. So what comes in is your soul. When the soul come in, it's telling you, look, you got to, that I say it in the most normal way. You can't put new wine in old wineskin. It's the simplest term is that. You can't bring the new you with the old habits you have. You have to change that. That's now you're talking about alchemy from the medieval period. That's what they was calling it, alchemy. But alchemy was when you took nothing from your past into your next day. You change all your habits. You don't eat the same food. You don't wear the same clothes. That's the new. You understand? And it's your new perception. With that new you, it's living under your intuition. Your intuition is your guide. So when you do the alchemy, you deny yourself those chemicals now. All those chemicals is the same chemicals you've been eating all your life. This is what kills you. You don't know. You eat burger, you eat chicken, you eat rice, you eat beans, you eat macaroni and cheese, you eat yams, you eat fries. I tell you what you just ate: sugar. All of those things is one thing: glucose. Think about it. All starch is meat turned to sugar. So you didn't eat nothing all your life more than death. Acid, 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 acid. Once in a while, you eat a little alkaline. That's not going to be enough to help you. So once you stop now and you get this new intuition, the new wineskin, you're going to eat alkaline. But what happens to the acid? It has to be transmutated. This is where you're going to go through the lead to fire to gold. It's going to be broken down to cause the fermentation of kundalini to activate the chakras now. So that's why you see everybody go through the twice born and change. You have to do the actual interchange now, where you mean you're not going to do those things no more. So with that new you, that's the actual person who's the higher self. That one now is going to be the one to regulate between the ego and what you're going to do. So you will see yourself in the middle. This is the ego, this is the higher self. Each one of them now play a different role in your life depending who you're dealing with. Somebody tell you fuck you and get out of here, you jump to your lower self and you deal with them, but you go back to yourself in the middle. When somebody's righteous to you, you jump to your higher self and you deal with them. Then this is it now. Now your consciousness. That's the difference. So you play the middle path. That's how the real way you're supposed to go. But most people superficial and live this side, or they real dark and live on this side. So you have to balance out the two energies if you plan to be psychic. Once you're able to be psychic, you hear both. And once you have the both, you're able to hear everything. You get cerebral around your magnetic field. And you're able to ascend up or down, go see the Father. This is when you're in your astral body now. The astral body is a blend of both. You have to be an androgynous being traveling as a soul body. So that's how you travel. You travel as an astral body. You want this, once you're able to do that, your dreams is no longer a dream. It's actually a projection. You're being consciously knowing what you're doing now. Aside from that, when it was a dream, it was more, you had your spirits feeding off of you by projecting images like your kids going through stuff, you feel anxiety, you just won the lottery, you feel a great euphoric feeling, you falling off a cliff, you get a adrenaline rush, or you having sex, you get the sexual energy. They feed off of that by projecting those into you and you think it's a dream. But once you wake up and know it's a projection, you leave and go to the higher worlds and you assume your lessons for the soul. You're gathering your splits. Once you're able to gather them all, then you're able to be powerful and have a magnetic aura that could actually do physical thing. You're talking PSI pressure. Have you ever heard of PSI? This is per square inch, pressure per square inch. It said take an ounce of pressure to actually have a astral body have physical, make a physical effect on something in the physical world. And you could do it by, doing energy work and increasing your magnetic field and your chakras. It'll give you that power. So that's just a benefit of it, which is not something to brag about, but it's actually in a subtle way how you align everything in your life. You start aligning it. This is where we at now. We're not looking for seeking jobs, have to go seek professions. You have to go now and align yourself. Once you align yourself, this is where the solar logo come in. You know how they say it in the biblical sense, the logos first, it was the logos. Look at it as your original destiny. But when we look at the outer world, the external world, you only get a choice between the Indian, the lawyer, the doctor, the chief. So you lose the disconnection from your higher self, your lower self, to go participate in the triangle, the pyramid. If everybody's trying to get up on the pyramid, crab in the barrel, pull each other down, and you assume, no, I'm not taking the pyramid. I'm going over here and I'm gonna learn my trade, and then I'm gonna make my own pyramid. So that will be your position as a creator now. And so that helps you to grow up and know, step out the ego, step out the middle zone, and see life not for it already is created, but what could be improved into this world. And that's what the creator you do, the higher self. And that's what you want to channel into. But remember, the ego is going to make you get a job, going to make you be a servant, going to make you want to go impress the woman or the man, make kids. Sometimes we hate being alone to develop our skills and our trade and our spirituality, and would rather have company, so we engage in relationships to just kill time. And then later on, you realize you're still by yourself, that person left. So instead of you wasting time doing that, you will seek out your spirituality, and your spirituality is going to lead you to your logos, where you belong, your destiny, which is to add something new into this world, not to actually, just judge it. It's not perfect, but you here to make it a little better by what you do. Same for your kids, you make their life a little better. So when you come out here, that's what you're supposed to do. See all the imperfections and try to make it perfect. There got to be ways for us to do it. So that now leads you to understand the ego more. Let me read from Hatha Yoga, because like I said, we can't just think that me telling you. I want you to actually know this is universal law that is actual. All right, so we're gonna read from Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and with that in mind, I would like to actually, I could let it read itself, or I could read it. Let me see if I can let it read itself so y'all can hear it more clearer for me.
Forward by BKS Iyengar. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika of Svatvaram is one of the most important yoga texts, and Hans Ulrich Rieker's translation and commentary have long been valuable to yoga students as a complement to their practice and study. Hatha Yoga, or Hatha Vidya, the science of Hatha Yoga, is commonly misunderstood and misrepresented as being simply a physical culture. divorced from spiritual goals. Hans Ulrich Rieker shows the error of this idea by explaining the changes which take place through the practice of Hatha Yoga in the practitioner's body, mind, and self.
So you hear, first of all, in the practitioner, mind, body, and self. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to have the transformation taking place in your mind, body, and self. The self is the ego. You understand? And that's what you're going to try to get rid of. But Hatha Yoga, so is Taoism, is an actual introduction to letting you know you're not by yourself. Even though you're one body, there is other parts to you. And what we call the self, there's a self preparation to go greet these other bodies. So yoga is a state of mind. Yes, no, Nanva. And we got to realize if we're not always in a state of yoga itself, the word just means union. Union of what? And it just means union of all energies. You're one with everything. So yoga is not actually sitting in what's called an asana. Asana is a position. When you start assuming some type of position, that's not called yoga. That's called an asana. Yoga itself is union of energies. Your feminine and your masculine, your yin and your yang. Energies that come in the room, such as a friend. Everything is, if you could unite it in synchronicity, sacred geometry, that's yoga. Yoga is when you're by yourself, you're always in contemplation, because it's not you that is actually making events happen, it's your soul, it's your spirit. So by you in yoga, you let go of subatomic particles. To make it, you can understand it. They did the law of observation, like if you observe subatomic particles, they come together and form. Well, they're not doing their job when you observe them, they come into form. They was doing their job when you wasn't observing them. They gone. They doing what they supposed to do. So when you hold a thought, when you hold anything, you're not letting it go into the universe as an explosion into the astral, which is the precursor to the physical. So by you letting go of it or not observing subatomically, you actually now just push out what you're trying to do and it comes back to you. So this is what you have to learn with the subtle body and that extra body that he's referring to. So let this play some more. Listen.
Makes the reader aware of the subjective transformation that occurs as the consciousness penetrates inwards towards the self, and as the self diffuses outwards. He shows that Hatha Yoga is not just physical exercise, but an integrated science leading towards spiritual evolution.
So he says that it's an integrated science that leads towards spiritual evolution. And that's what you're trying to get into. You're not just trying to learn it in the sense of, I know all the different positions, or I know Hatha Yoga. It don't serve you that way. It's actually an experience you're going to enter. Experience to let you see more of yourself, not just inwards wise, but when you start doing it, you start being honest. The honesty is the key to your powers, believe it or not. It's like something could come in the room and you already sensed it in a second. That's called honesty. But when something come in the room and you start scheming and you start thinking what could it be, and you're getting these downloads, this is when now it start getting perversion and you can't see the truth in it. It's a one truth that once you know the truth, you can assess it right and use it towards your benefit. But if you see what you want to see through the ego, this is when you get demons or portals open by your ears and it start telling you what you think it is or what you presume it's supposed to be. But in reality, every experience we have, we already pre-had it in another life, in another experience, and we could summarize it within 1 second if you allow your energies to talk, not you. You know, don't allow your mind to think either, because it's only going to judge off a past experience, and it renders you not to have these new experiences. So it is an actual spiritual growth that Hatha Yoga is teaching you through. Let's go on.
We are caught up in emotions like lust, kama, anger, krodha, greed, labha, infatuation, moha, pride, inadha, and malice. Matsaraya. Hatha Yoga helps us to overcome these obstacles and hindrances to spiritual development. It is a biochemical, psychophysiological, and psycho-spiritual science which deals with the moral, mental, intellectual, and spiritual aspects of man.
So you see, those is important for you to take the journey into spirituality. That's why I said a lot of people, we get these downloads, but we don't know who is it from. It could be from a demon. It could be from anything. I always listen to it, but I don't pay attention to it in such a deep way because I've seen its effect on people. It actually takes them over and consumes them like a succubus, and they lose their true self, their help for humanity, and it becomes more of them trying to fire their ego, and they become egotistical. So when you talk to them, you're just dealing with a person that's cool, but as you get more deep, or you question, or you push some type of button, you see something else come out of them that show you they're not qualified, or they did not go through purification. It's just the spirit came upon them and they're using it. You understand? So it's a difference. You want the right way. It gives you I don't want to say it in a superficial way, but the way we do it, say it in the cult world or whatever, it's like you get this Christ consciousness energy that actually interact with people, that heal them. And you don't have full control over it. It's just it works through love, empathy, your open heart chakras. They're chakras, and chakras is alive. They're living beings, and they work with who they are one with. They unite with energies, and they exchange energies, healing energies, bad energies. All of these is the unities that make some people separate themselves from other people because it has a bad influence or negative influence on them. So you have to understand that these is why we study now Hatha Yoga and try to master the mind, disciplining over the body, because the body is really the whole controller of you. The organs is really what controls your mind. Because if you was sitting there, you could sit there for 48, no, let's say 8 hours, and then your stomach is going to start giving off chemicals to tell your mind to get up and feed it. So only reason you will have to get up is because your body told your mind that. Your mind didn't tell your body that. And so in yoga and hatha, you will learn that you don't listen to the impulses of your body. Your mind is the controller. It feeds off of light, it feeds off of air, and it feeds the body when it wants to feed the body, not the body telling it when. So you start denying biochemistry on your body. You feel weird sensations as you're going through the different aspects and sheaths of yourself through what we call contemplation and meditation. And you will see each one will cause sensations on you that will make you want to scratch, itch, move, feeling uncomfortable. Once you pass these frequencies, you're not prone to it no more. So you can sit for 9 hours, don't move, don't even blink. Those now is giving you control of your body. It's nothing spooky or scary, but you're taking back control over your biochemistry. Once you have control over your biochemistry now, you'll be able to manifest any type of biochemical inside your body you want. So say you wanted to smoke some weed, you would just will weed into your thoughts, into your astral, and then you will literally get high, because that's placebo medicine. That's how we do things now, by believing. But you have to have the right way. You'll be able to tap in, to feel, to sense. And it also work if you're a psychic and you're doing psychic detective work, or even checking up on a family. Your sense of seeing, smelling, and hearing, and interpreting will be heightened to a level that you literally taste, feel, and touch everything there. So it has its importance. By disciplining your mind, you're able to be more in tune with those things. You have a more sensitive to your psychic abilities. So I just wanted to add that onto what it's saying. So let's continue.
As well as the physical and physiological. We can clarify our understanding of Hatha Yoga by first examining 5 important underlying concepts: mind, knowledge, aims of life, health and afflictions. Mind. Man is known as Manava, human, as he is descended from Manu, the father of mankind, who is said to be the son of Brahma, the creator of the world. The word Mana or Manas, mind, comes from the...
Let me give you an understanding of Brahma and Manu, because it's been like nobody don't know what it is. But I'm gonna bring it down to you, because you probably ain't gonna understand what I'm wording until you do some deep research. Manu is actually just genetics, and Brahma would be the sun. The effects of genetics on the sun cause about everything in creation. Manu is always here in you. So you got to realize these two together is working. That's why I was giving the analogy of when I moved to the south, or right to the middle of the equator, the effects of it was what awakened me, Brahma. And it was through my genetics, Manu, that actually caused a whole biochemistry evolution that I thought I was crazy, until I caught a whole grip on everything and read books. It was the books that guided me and said, okay, I'm not crazy. Okay, I'm not possessed. Okay, this is what's supposed to happen. Oh, okay. And from there on, I had it. I knew the rest. So it's like I realized the Western world actually tried to demonize it. And I'm gonna be realistic with you. Every being you see, like from Freddy Krueger to Jason, is actually from the God world. And so when you go in your dreams and you're going into your God world, it's not that you're seeing Freddy Krueger from the movie you watch. They took it from the astral already and put it in movies and then demonized it. That's the truth. You understand? So you're going to see all those beings. If you even study angels and angelic beings, and I've studied it, they're not good looking beings. You're going to see devis. Go to the original first um, Bibles written, I think it's called Codus Inviticus. You could see images that they had engraved in it of angels and beings, and they look like devils, all of them, with wings. And so what we have as Europeans with wings now is not the actual look you're going to see in the astral unless you're using your mind. And that's when you project what you experience. When you go into the astral and you go take these journeys, you're going through time, through atoms, subatomic particles in your body. You're not in space, you're not over there. You have the whole 48 constellations within your full body, with each one being controlled by Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, with its planetary units that is aligned with it. So that subatomic particle will leave and go through photons, light photons, to those adjacent planets that you're connected to, also to the sun constellation you're connected to, which is all in light. It's not going a long distance like this. It's like just jumping particles, which is immediate. It's no time in more space or anything. So once you're able to understand that, each atomic particle on you have to be reactivated, and that's what you're doing when you're going into meditation. They say it's the greatest healer. It teaches you everything, but you're just activating back your cells. Dead cells, or the levels of your cells are in 4 stages. If you Google right now stages of an atom, you will see it got E1, E2, E3, E4. So you're going through the 4 stages. And if you want to Google Anu Atom, Anuatom, that's the ultimate level of an atom, which is the 4th stage. So by meditating, you actually set off the fire, the 4 elements in you, Kundalini, which actually ferminates your atoms, and then you cause actual uprising of yourself. This is how it's said in spiritual. I don't want to get too technical with you about it, but if you want to understand in detail what's going on with you, I'm breaking it down so you can hear. So I just was giving you the basics of Hatha Yoga. I'm going to give you one more because I want to go into the splits and the ego real
Root
quick.
man, meaning to think.
All right.
Man is one who possesses a mind. Manas means mind, intellect, thought, design, purpose, and will. It is the internal organizer of the senses of perception and the organs of action, and the external organizer of intelligence, consciousness, and the self. Man is graced with this special sense so that he can oil the pleasures of the world, or seek emancipation and freedom moksha, from worldly objects, knowledge. Knowledge means acquaintance with facts, truth, or principles by study or investigation. The mind, which is endowed with the faculty of discrimination, desires the achievement of certain aims in life.
All right, I want you to understand that it's important for you to research and study. It's not you feeding yourself. It's not you feeding your ego. What it is a lot of people's soul been activated. Those that see themselves on YouTube just studying and reading and watching YouTube, regurgitating mad information, the soul has awakened. It just got here and it needs to know what's going on. It knows everything, but right now you have to give it back the information. So it loves YouTube because it actually knows now what's true, what's not true. So you will watch a video and you'll be like, nah, that's not true. No, your inside is like, nah, that's not what happened. This is not, and this is where you start getting your intuitiveness start coming in. Your soul start developing itself now because it has to remember. So you're feeding yourself intellect and books and information, not for you. You're doing it so your soul could help you out because You're in a deception now. This is not what it's supposed to be. The soul know that, but it needs more information to gather together, so it could put itself back to what's going on right now, so it can help you. But they don't know about this deception. They think everything is good. You be feng shuied, ready to help and loving and this, not knowing this is a world of deception. So by you watching these YouTube videos, by you reading these books, you're actually cultivating your soul and putting it into its proper ways where it can help you now. And so that's why you see all these people so in tune with YouTube videos, and knowledge is so important. Everybody's soul is starting to activate. And your soul is not in you, it's over you. A soul cannot touch the physical body. That's why they say you can't put old wine in new wineskin. This remains the flesh, and it's going to head its own direction. But you pop out now as your consciousness, and you over you with your demions connected through the chakras, and you actually have control over the body, more influence. But you're not the body. But now, what connects the soul to the body is these invisible gods called the devis or chakras, and that's what is the one you travel in between to go to the higher self and the lower self, the higher self and the lower self. And so that's what you have to learn. And so these exercises, these type of disciplines will control your body and separate the mind and bring you to the consciousness so that you can shift and go in between each one. I'm going to give you a great example of that real quick. I think I have this set up on the tablet so you understand it. Let me see. Yes, this is The Apprentice. It's by Mulford, The Forces and How to Use Them. I'm gonna go back and show you the cover in a minute, but I wanted to read from where I'm at. Hold on, so you can see for yourself. I'll give you this so you can help on your journey too. Now, what he's saying is where you travel when you sleep. That's the name of it. He said there are senses of your body and other senses for your spirit. Your spirit is an organization distinct from the body. It has eyes and ears, touch, taste, and smell. Its eyes can see 10,000 times further than the eyes of the body. Its other senses are infinite superior. You are now using a very inferior set of senses. The eyes of your body compared with the eyes of your spirit is a mere peephole. The sense of the body are relatively coarse as compared with those of the spirit. They are for use in a relatively coarse statum of life. You are better off in a coal mine with a coarse miner's suit than one with a silk or velvet. Your body with its coarse sense is for use in the coarse life of life. Yet it may be for Yet it may be for you a possibility to slip off this suit, the body, and go with your spirit, leaving for a time, of course, a suit, to a higher and finer order of life. You now have a clairvoyant eye and a clairvoyant ear, but these are not open. The clairvoyant eye is closed like those of some animals is very early in infancy. In a few persons, it is open prematurely, and in advanced or other spiritual senses, this is a premature ripening. The clairvoyant eye is the spiritual eye. It is an eye put out at the end of a thought. Send your thought to London, and if clairvoyant, you send that eye with it. A clairvoyant ear is an ear set with a thought. Clairvoyance and clairaudience are not special gifts for particular people. They belong to all and are in the germ of all human beings. So you see, you have that ability. Everybody has abilities that they don't know. And so I said I want to give it to you from download perspective because there's probably more to it than just a download. But when you hear it this way, it will give you the incentive now to go look into yourself to see what you could do. Basic exercise is just to close your eyes and sit there and you go deep into yourself. First it's going to be a lot of thoughts, mad thoughts running. Don't worry about the thoughts. Let the thoughts run. They're not nothing. You understand? It's like a water fountain that don't have no switch on it to turn it down, turn it off. And so that's you in your undisciplined mind your whole life. It's just been loose in many lives, reincarnation. So it always is just thoughts running. So by you not acknowledging them, eventually those thoughts will stop. And so look at it like a pond or dirty water, and you can't see to the bottom of the pond because the dirty, murky water is your thoughts. But as your thoughts settle, you get to see your feet at the bottom of the pond. And so that's what you want to do. Just sit there It might not happen in one session. You might have thoughts that run for a day or two. Just sit there. You're not literally at the same thought point you was when you started. If you started here, you start going up slowly. You're still thinking, but you don't know that you're actually moving slowly. Before you know it, you won't have those thoughts no more. It would be like you talking to a person, a new friend, and you know you're interested in him, and y'all talk too much on the phone, and then y'all get on the phone and there's nothing else to talk about. Y'all just get quiet because y'all left that frequency slowly but surely. You left that. So it's the same way. You have thoughts running for a while, maybe not on your first meditation or third meditation, but by the fourth, it's less thoughts. You understand? You're seeing more nothing. And then from there, once you pass the nothing for a little while and then you get the blackness, then start seeing orbs, colors, lights. Then you start seeing shapes forming, ghost images. You're going deep into your core, your own core. You're slowly going down from your throat chakra. It starts here, as a matter of fact. You start as an orb and you go down into your system. And if for you, it looked like you're going through dimensions, constellations, worlds, faces, demons, all tech, Egypt. All of that is inside yourself as you journey into your core. If it's who you truly are as a cell, a subatomic particle, all those things. But it makes you now the magician, the actual conscious being that able to tap into those sides of yourself. So now by you taking that journey and you keep going, the more you sit there, the deeper it gets, the deeper it gets. You want to get to your core where you're seeing everything in like sacred geometry form, like a matrix pattern, where you hey, you're welcome, Raven. Thank you too. And once you get to the core, it's gonna be a circle, a mandala. It look like a wheel in the wheel, and it's all direction with a Vitruvian man, your true self. Your core has the Vitruvian. Van Gogh drew the picture with a man with his arms spread out, his legs spread out. It's inside the core of all of us, Ezekiel say it, and it's proven scientifically. But you have to sit there and just wait. It's all different things happening in your life. The way that the yogis do it, and who does yoga, is they will prepare themselves for that journey I just spoke of by isolating themselves in a forest. They'll build themselves a little hut, only have a little rug on the floor to sleep on, and maybe a little prayer table. And that hut is isolated. That all the everything when they start the journey down into their core, it comes out of them and it spreads out in a macabre that stays in that little temple, that little private area. And when you go in there, people will see spirits. Everything that was as you're going, you spewing out that fountain, and this become actually the lily flower that folds over the chakra and drops because all those spirits is gone now. It's just the open chakra, and those spirits roam around in that little area. That's why anybody who profess to do Kundalini yoga and it's in a big room with a bunch of people is a fraud, it's a lie. And actually people sharing spirits and demons and their bad stuff that's inside of them dark is coming out in that room, and they're very unconscious to it. And would never teach Kundalini yoga with more than me and the practitioner. That's the rules of the game, because it actually releases spirits and you get it out into the room. And so now when you get your little isolation place, or when you're doing it, if you have your room, it's your private room. I mean, it's your genetic family. Your kids and you wear the same spirit. You don't have to worry about it. It's outsiders whose bad mind you have to worry about. People who have false intentions that hang around you for fake reasons. They have negative spirits towards you and you don't know it yet. You don't understand the game. So once you understand that now, you do these exercises that take you to your core. Once you get to your core, that's when your macabre starts spinning. You start making it spin. When it starts spinning, it looks like this. You see this circumference right here? You see how this spin right here? This lines? This is what you're gonna see, a subtle in the air. As a matter of fact, it's right here if you can see it. It's right over here. You see all this spinning right here? This is minds right here. You can see it right here. Look. You can see this energy on the circle of energy I'm making over here on my These two right here, look in here. If you see this energy, I'm making that circle right there. Now, if you get eyes, you can see I'm gonna make it like you could go through to the other side. Watch this. It's in this board right here, really. Look in this board. See how it's moving fast? See how everything is just going by fast like subatomic particles, just moving like you could drive in a game? That's what I do. I have the energy to do that at will. You see how it's moving now like we playing pole position or a video game driving? That's how it's done. That's the power we have. That's how we control energy. If you can see in here now, look into the shades, the dark and the light, how it's moving. You see around my hand, the energy shooting up from my finger up into it. And I could control the intensity with my mind. You know, I'm not trying to do anything. I just want you to see it. But you should be able to shoot through that into the other side if you don't understand how the game go. But that's it. All right, now that's this. You see this? How these lines is? That's how it moves. It spins around you like a macabre. It spins around you. And when you get to your core, that's what you activate. And that's called macabre sign, Hekalat macabre. You learn this through meditation. And so that's why you headed to your core. You're going to see your past life, your present life, demons. Everything that happened is not just from you. Remember, we're made of atoms, and that's what you're traveling in the subatomic world. And you're going to travel in atoms as your eyes. And so you're seeing their stories too. That's their stories, which is a part of you, because you're made up of those atoms. So you have to understand that and be one with it. So it's like a journey through Jason and the Dragon, a journey like Alice in Wonderland to many worlds. But you don't have no enemies in those worlds. Those is you, every aspects of it. All right, I want you to understand that. All right, so let's move on. Let me see. Um, I'm glad that tractor ain't coming through. Y'all don't know. Y'all was blessed because that tractor been going all morning, which delayed me from actually doing these little talks or whatever. It's another part to it with the ego, but as we learn, you will understand more the ego. Um, I wanted to read to you from just different splits. It's this great book on energy work, and let me see if I could pull it up. Then I want to go into unholy hungers about energy vampires so we can understand it real quick. But let me see if I could pull this up real fast for you. I don't think it's on here. Okay. 1 second. Let me see if it's over here. All right. You know what? I'm going first. Oops. I want to start off since I'm by this initiation too of the shaman because it has to do with the mind. Everything has to do with the mind. Once you get the idea of what the mind is going through and what the soul is, don't think the soul when it comes out is a good being. The soul is an animal. You understand? And you have to train the soul because a lot of us, let me give you an example so if you don't know what the soul characteristics is, and so you could define it because all of these is in human beings, but you can't tell because everybody look the same. The characteristics of the soul it has a habitual attached nature. It likes to attach to things. It's kind of a pleasure seeker, and really it don't really care about anything. So a lot of people do have their soul active and is living in the lower part of it. And for you now to step up or to the higher self is to deny yourself those that you love. the things you like to hang out and do, because your soul love attachment. You understand? And if it attaches it to anything, you're gonna reincarnate. That's what it's trying to do. It's unconsciously in this animal state, this first state, and want to reincarnate. So you will have to take out attachments out yourself so that your soul could ascend. And that's the only way you'll be able to make it out of the sheath into your next level of yourself. All right. So, um, as a matter of fact, let me see. Here we go. This is from this guy. It's a great book, Illumination: The Shaman Way of Healing. You know, if you want to use this, this is a great book. The author is Alberto Vildello. He's a PhD, and he gets it in. He got a lot of good book. He's a shaman. He traveled the world and wrote upon the mind, how the mind work. And for us, the journey we're taking is that you got to understand they're here to trick us. And once they could trick the mind, they got us. And that's what they've been doing. I'm here to free up the mind. Once your mind is free, you have your powers. You could do anything. All right, so this is now where he says the human brain is made up of four anatomical different subcomputers that develop over millions of years of evolution. The most ancient one is the reptilian brain, which we share with lizards and dinosaurs. This brain is programmed to breathe, eat, and breed. Enveloping and informing it is the limbic brain, which I have variously called the mammilla brain and the lower or primitive brain. We share the limbic system with the Neanderthals, our now existing prehistoric relatives, as well as the other primates and all mammals. The limbic brain help us to do and what is it? The limbic brain help us to do an even more sophisticated job of survival, allowing us to store nuts or roots for the winter, recognizing predators, and bond with others, form families and tribes. It's the limbic brain that causes us to want shelter and protect our loved ones, that helps us learn things by route and to sniff out food that has spoiled or smelled danger. So a lot of us, we believe in we're human by just being the limbic brain, like making kids and taking care of them. That's not a human trait. That's just your brain. You understand? Once you can understand the difference between you and your brain, and you doing things and thinking you're doing things. I'll read that to you again so you will understand it if you missed it, because it's demonstrating the human brain and not you as the self. It says the human brain is made up of four anatomical different subcomputers that develop over millions of years of evolution. The most ancient now known is the reptilian brain, which we share with the lizards and dinosaur. This brain is programmed. Now you see, this is a part. If you want to know what part of you make you eat, breathe, and breed, that's your reptilian brain. Don't think you're doing it. You're only doing it because you have a reptilian brain. So it says this brain is programmed to breathe, eat, and breed. And enveloping and informing is the limbic brain. So now, if you want to know why you which we share with animals, Neanderthals, and all that. If you want to know why you are allowed to go to work and save your money, store things up for winter, recognize when good or bad people, um, form families and tribes, this is not you. That's your limbic brain. That's not you. That's what I'm trying to put you on to. All right, now it says the limbic brain is the brain of beliefs and emotions. There is nothing cuddly about a snake, which is lacking of limbic brain. But a puppy who is able to respond to feelings and emotions is utterly lovable. This primitive brain gets pumped into the battle lust after your neighbor's wife, spouse, shows no mercy to a weaker opponent, and sucks up to those who you consider wealthier or more powerful than you. The limbic brain programs so strongly influence our behavior that 5 out of 10 commandments are mandated to reign in our primitive instincts. Killing, adultery, stealing, bearing false witness, and coveting as the source of all beliefs about the nature of life. The limbic brain allowed us to invent religion. It also generates every limited belief we hold about ourselves, including our low self-esteem, our self-doubt, our guilt, our about sexuality, and fear of scarcity. So you see, a lot of things you think is you is not you. It's just programmed into your brain, and you believe it's you. You have to see beyond those things. That's why it's important for you to grasp this concept of what I'm reading, because there's the neocortex now, the neocortex brain. He says the neocortex is our new brain, the most recent part of the brain to evolve. This is the brain of knowledge and science that scoffs of belief, insisting instead on hypothesis that can be tested out against reality. I like this old joke about the difference between science and religion. With science, you develop a hypothesis and test it out against the fact, and the facts prove it wrong. You throw it away, and the hypothesis and coming up with a better one. With religion, you take a hypothesis and test it out against the facts, and if the facts prove wrong, you throw away the facts. This is why when you're arguing with someone, no amount of facts that support your position will help you win. The primitive brain gives more weight to circumstantial evidence and what one believes to be true than to the truth itself. We share the neocortex with other mammals, but in humans, in many folds, enables us to be larger and capable of more advanced cognitive skills. The human neocortex thus added language and speech to our survival repertoire. This brain comprehends time, the seasons, as well as past and future, giving us the capacity for foresight. It is also responsible for the poetry and music, which is, although of no great survival value in African Sahara, we the ingredients of a future wisdom society and for the survival of the wisest. The merchants, the craftspeople, the pyramid architects, scientists, and scribes. With the development of the neocortex, it was not the ablest hunter who got the most fertile female, the most land, or the most shelter, but the smartest one. Out of each of the three subbrains, the reptilian brain, the limbic brain, and the neocortex can be thought of as a holen from the Greek word helios, meaning whole, or holios, Holos, a unit that is complete within itself and also part of a larger organic structure. All of these brains perform their biological program function, yet they submit to the guidance of the highest brain in the same way that our stomach has its job but does not set the agenda of our day. The term hierarchy isn't quite right for the irrational relationship of parts of the brain because it does not reflect the feedback that occurs in a living system. Hierarchically better express the fact that the lower brain often inform the higher brain rather than simply obeying them. So that's what I was telling you. It's the lower brain that controlling your higher self because we're not conscious in our higher self. We're allowing just the lower brain to tell us what to do. But if you understand what I just said, you will understand when you're acting in your reptilian brain, when you're acting in your lymphic brain, and when you're acting in your neocortex brain. Those is like the three egos. And with that in mind, I would give you a demonstration then to end this off. You know, I'm about to end it, but I want you to understand the different egos and how they work. There's this guy, he's a great author. He wrote a book called Games People Play. And in games people play, he gives you the different egos. It's three. You got a child ego, you have an adult ego, and you have a parent ego. Each ego is in response to the other one to cause our dualities or our unities in relationship. And by you understanding the games people play, you'll be able to identify the different egos that's inside human beings and which one for you to use so you don't be victimized by the different splits in our egos. So, let me see what these coming. Okay. Oh, this is where the secret books is at. Hey, you know what? Since I'm passing this, I'm going to give you a quick read off of Teo. This is important to know Teo. This is why it's important. I'm going to tell you why. We're going to read from the Teo real quick. You see, the tail made me realize it was all right to see spirits. It was all right to be me. It was who everybody's trying to get to be, and it was just something I went through. So I'm gonna read from the Teo Chi real quick for you to understand. If you're trying to learn yourself, you will have to see in the spirit world, and when you see in the spirit world, that's when you're able to actually learn yourself. Here we go. He says one cannot cognize Teo only by speak. I mean, one cannot cognize Teo only by speaking it. One cannot name by a human name that origin of the sky and the earth, which is the mother of everything. Only those who are free from worldly possessions can see it, and those who have such possessions can only see its creation. And you see, they tell you out the gate, only those who are free of worldly possessions can see it. It's not something that you see in one book. Everybody say the damn same thing. So like if you can't see it, you have worldly possessions that's blinding you. And some people get some of it. But the word he says is see it. See it is what you want to do. That's what I do is see it. So it says Teo and his creation are one in essence. Though they are called by different names, the passage which exists between them in a doorway to all that is miscellaneous. When people know beauty, they are understanding what is ugly. And so that's entail and how we see it in the Godhead. For something to exist, it has to has an opposite for it to exist. And so by you understanding something, you understood something else. One thing always leads to another because it has this opposing force or it's opposite to it. So he goes on, he said, when people learn what is good, they also realize what is evil. And in this way, existence and non-existence, hard and easy, long and short, high and low, allow knowing each other. Different sounds mix and create harmony, and so proceeding and the succeeding following each other harmoniously. The wise prefer non-doing and live in quietness. Everything happens around them as if it by itself. And that's how our world works. It says they are not attracted to anything on the earth. They do not own anything made by them. They are not proud of their works. Since they do not exalt themselves, do not boast, and do not require special respect from others, they are pleasant to all. If the chosen are not exalted, no one envies them. You hear that? If the chosen are not exalted, no one envies them. If the material treasures are not praised, no one steals them. In other words, if the objects of passions are not shown off, they are now temptations. So just learning these basics is the truth. You know, you see yourself trying to show off. We all out here trying to show off. We want to shine. But you see that's the wrong direction you want to go in if you're trying to get to your higher self. I'm giving it to you straight up out the book. I can tell you already, and you would probably take it as you would see it written down. Is what I'm trying to demonstrate. He says the wise rules does not create such temptations for no. The wise ruler does not create such temptations for the people, but takes care that people have enough food. This eliminates passions and strengthens people's health. The wise ruler always strives to prevent temptations and passions and does not let evil people act. The absence of all that has been mentioned being calm. Teo looks like a void, yet it is omnipotent. It is the depths. It is the origin of everything. It controls everything. It pervades everything. It manifests itself as shining light. It is the subtlest. It is man's existence of everything. One cannot describe its origin, for it is primordial. So you read it and you understand that it is the whole truth. Read his poet. Let me see what you said. Okay. Read his poem, Bundle in One Planet Ride of the Time. The conundrums behind Leotora's poems are like a codex. Read all his poems in once. Look what happens. Yes, you're right. And as that's what I'm trying to expose the world to and expose them to the true teachings compared to our speculative views, you know. And you're right, Envy. And that's what we here to bring to the light. And I'm gonna get more into his teachings. And you're right, I'm gonna do it to try to help people. But I want you to just see it for those who haven't been in there and doing, or is just trying to get into initiation and learn that that's the truth. You get the tail, it will guide your mind into a world of the true self, the inner you, the journey you need to go on. But it's a pre-preparation by getting your mind ready for what's going to happen, and you get you through the journey. So he goes on to say, matter, by both in the sky on earth is this passionate towards all creatures, but the planets, animals, or people, however, is the base of all of them. In the same way, the wise are dispassionate towards others. The space above the earth is void and free, like the space inside a bellow of a flute. The more space there is for action, the more efficient the action can be. The one who interferes with the action of others and talks too much becomes unbearable for people. Therefore, it's always better to follow the principle of non interference and keep inner calm. So you see right there, it helps you a lot to not just understand yourself, but understanding others, you know. And once you get the idea and the program, you get more mental powers, more of yourself back. And instead of spreading yourself out and you become the subtle energy, you will see that it's more to you. I just had to read that part of the tale because I love it actually, that truth. It's the truth. But I want you to get that, and you will see it start teaching you about spirits and to see into the spirit world. Let me see if I could see it real quick. All right, he goes on to say, the wise live like water. Water serves all being and does not require anything for itself. It exists below and all things. In this respect, it's similar to Teo. Life has to follow the principle of naturalness, follow the path of the heart, be friendly, tell only the truth. When guiding others, follow the principle of being calm. Every action has to be realized and done in time. The one who does not strive to be ahead of others can avoid many mistakes. I wanted to see. Let me see. All right. It's Wow, it's Truth, the title of the poem. Yes, it's a good book, man. I want you to get it, and I want you to understand it and live by it, because we actually are being taught the opposite, and we actually, you could say, forfeit our abilities. We forfeit our powers by participating in the way that they're trying to make us do it. All right, now I'm gonna try to give you this basics of the ego. Yes, Latoya, welcome, peace and blessings. All right, so you can understand the ego. Now, this one I told you about now is called Games People Pay. It's a great book, you know. I would recommend it too if you could see it. You know, if you want to learn the different splits, this is psychology now, but this will give you a quick understanding of what's going on with you and your ego. You see, you got your ego is divided into three parts. As you can see, you have a child ego, an adult ego, and the parent ego. These are your three egos. And so you don't know you carry them out unconsciously. These is the other sub egos. That's them right there. Once you're able to be conscious of this, you're on your way to taking care of your ego splits. You will see how it works. I could give it to you without even reading these things by just showing you the pictures. You have two people interacting with each other. Um, you have three states of being. So when you have good communication, you have two adult people having an adult conversation. It will go normal, adult to adult. Sometime now you get a parent come in. This is when the person start trying to tell. The parent is the ego or parent up here that tell people what to do. Always is like the mother teacher, the father teacher, and tell you what to do. That he assumes the parent ego. When two parent ego get into it, that's fine. But when a parent ego and comes with an adult ego, it's a clash in characteristics right here, because the adult ego only know to take instructions. It's an instructional ego. I have to go to work. I have to pay my bills. I have to take care of my kids. I'm doing what it's a doer. But the child ego is a complainer. It's a passive ego. It's a sexual player. It likes to play around. So when we get into promiscuity, you will see the child ego will play with the adult ego, And the child ego will always get its way because the child ego rules the whole circle of the egos because it brings about change. We change through the child ego. So you will notice, like, say you and your man is in the room, you play with him, y'all do more playing, which will lead to sexuality because it opens up the ego. Now, two child is always going to clash. Two child egos, that's going to bring about evenness when they do it. But say you the adult ego over here, and you tell them, let me go get me a cup of water to the other adult ego. But the adult ego now from living with you feel like, yo, you always asking me for a cup of water. You got to go get it yourself. You asked me that yesterday. He just assumed the child ego. The adult talked to him, but he responded with the child ego. So for you to actually dominate him and take him, you would have to assume the parent ego. The parent go to the child and tell him, look, you're gonna do what I tell you to do, and la la la, whatever it takes to make the communication do it. But you will have to assume the parent ego so you won't conflict with him. If usually what happened is the other person jump into the child ego too. Well, you're supposed to do it for me because I love you and this and this and this, and then it turned into an argument. These two stalemate each other and cancel each other out when this happened and just turned into an argument. So whenever one comes, the parent, you have it has to be a child is talking to. An adult can only talk to another adult or a parent, and the child, it actually is just the troublemaker in between all the two. So these is the egos that we have within one ego that we use against people in different ways, and each person is living in one of these sheaths of their egos. You understand? So just by you learning that basic part, you will understand where this is going. Um, Man, my tiredness for reading is up. We're gonna get into that another time. I don't feel like getting into all that. That's a lot. Look, just so you understand, what just discouraged me when I looked at it. Look, who's gonna do all this right now? I've been doing this for a quick minute. It's time for me to get into some energy work, and I would tell y'all to do the same too. Energy work is what you need for your higher body to live, your higher selves, which you can't see. The invisible body, like how we see this energy, is still resonating right here, right? Once you do energy work with your sun staring, meditation, chakra work, I'll show you different methods, but you're actually feeding what you ate, the energy you're receiving from the sun, to those other bodies that you have. And once you give them enough energy, they assume a life of their own. So that's why you do energy work, to actually feed your soul, to feed your ego, feed your astral body, your energy. So sometimes you're gonna feel an energy withdrawal. Usually energy work make you look tired, old. You want that. That's your immediate look. But in the long run, your soul, you're going to get it, and then your body's going to rejuvenate, and you're going to look younger when you don't do no energy work and you just chilling. So you would want to do energy work when you're in the house and all that, because when you go out, you look young. You get it? That's how it works. You do energy work today, you don't get the benefit today. You get it next day or the next 2 days. You will feel the tiredness and the fatigue from it, but you look young. Trust me, it works. All right, so I'm about to go out. I want you to get your sun too, and to give you the reflective look. I be thinking I'm wet sometime, and I be wiping my own stuff, and it's just the shine. This is when you get the DNA crystallizing and everything from all the chakra work. So that's especially in the north, we get vitamin D deficiencies if we're not in the sun. And so if you don't spend at least 45 minutes in the sun, you're gonna prone to be in a vitamin deficiency state, which is very known in the north, especially melanated people and indigenous people, because we usually, as sun being, we're children of the sun, so we're used to being in the sun for hours. But if we start neglecting the sun just to go to work, get in your car and go home and cook and watch TV, you actually put yourself in a position to have vitamin C deficiency and all the problems that come along with it, such as arthritis and bone osteoporosis. All of those is all vitamin D deficiency. So I would advise you to go out, especially anybody indigenous to the earth, spend time in nature. You know, go out and be with it for at least an hour and a half a day, and you will see yourself going through a biophysical transformation, because that's what's needed to facilitate your body. You're not doing it for you, you're doing it for your body. You understand? Think about it like that. Everything you're doing that hurts, looking at the sun hurts you. You rather go look at a pleasurable TV. Me too. But I know I have to do it. I woke up and I want to stay awake. I don't want to go back to sleep. It's just like lifting weights. If you stop doing it, your body go poof. You understand? It's a damn shame. People work out 50 years of their life, and in 1 week, all that shit will disappear. You eat the wrong food. So you got to realize that's the same thing with energy work. You got to feed those other bodies to regenerate you, to keep you young, to keep that energy going. We don't survive off of food. Don't think of a mundane way of living that a food could save your life, a food could cure you. What cure you is light. You're crystallized light. And so feed off of what is actually you, the light. And once you do that, you see yourself um, coming back to health, coming back off of diseases, coming back to your consciousness, having intuition. Then you'll see yourself able to take astral flight. If you doubt, Google right now. NASA says sun staring give you superhuman abilities. Read that article, then get back to me. You understand? Aside from that, let's get out there and go get some sun, all right? University of Conscious Science. One love.